It's Wednesday, February 4th, 2015, and uh, whew, wonder if I'm gonna have to do a couple of these. I I'm coming out again. The hard thing for bisexual people is that as they come to learn more and more about their orientation, um, they want to share that with everyone, but everyone's pretty much gotten sick of, at least within their immediate family, kind of sick of the whole idea, you know. Um, and the whole thing is like, if they would just accept it the first time, you're not gonna keep pushing it, you know. I mean, if you just say, "Hey, this is what I am," I'm like, "Oh, that's cool, man." Um, and if everyone was to take that approach when people were to tell them something personal in their lives that they didn't need to disclose, but they just kind of felt would help bring you closer because you'd know more about them, what they're doing is they're sharing a personal, a part of themselves that will allow them to be more authentic and a healthier individual, whether or not the people around them find it to be beneficial to them. So in that way, it helps free them from a lot of that fear. It's almost like a fear-based mentality. Now, I was fortunate enough to like come across YouTube um, earlier on, and that helped me sort of get away from the idea of being heterosexual and homosexual, because I think the whole thing with me was that um, I'm an explorer. I mean, my mom said that really well the other day. She's like, "Oh, you're an explorer." And my dad said that too. You know, you like to explore new things, you want to try new things, you want to have new experiences, you want to have hands-on experiences. Um, and of course, hands-on knowledge is the most valid form of knowledge, especially when it has to do with yourself. Like, you won't know till you try it, you know what I mean? If you like always are judging, you know, like just any substance really, any substance, any experience, you know, it's like, oh, I'm not gonna go on that roller coaster. And it's kind of like coming out as like you're on that roller coaster, and and you're scared that you know that somebody is gonna see that you're underage and you're on that roller coaster, and but you know that if you tell your parents that, hey, I'm trapped on this roller coaster, you know, if you start telling people that, hey, you know, I'm not really supposed to be on here, then they'll stop running you around the track over and over and over again. And that's the whole point. People, they come out because they need to. Sometimes it's societal, sometimes it's their friends are coming out, or they know other LGBT people. I knew no one. I was in California, but I only had one friend, and he was gay, and he turned out to be not respectful of my boundaries, and was and I guess it just never really occurred to me. I mean, when I was in Ross, I always used to like fabric, clothing. I wanted to try new things on. I wanted it to look good, and I wanted it to look unique, and I wanted it to represent me. It was really, really important to me. I didn't want to just be like every other person walking around on the street who had picked up a shirt at like Walmart or Kmart or something, and I was the type of person who just felt like it would have been, I wanted to be my authentic self, and I didn't feel like that was possible by simply doing what everyone else was doing. Ever since I was a young age, I was trying to stand out from the crowd. I never wanted and never felt like I could fit in, never wanted to fit in. You know, kind of wanted the benefits of fitting in, but realized that being an individual was worth more to me than fitting in. And and the thing is like, I was very intelligent. I was told as a child, and I would be observant, and I could hold adult conversations at age 8. And I felt like maybe that helped me look at life in a way other people they don't really see things a lot of the times. They get caught up in a routine, you know, a work routine, a school routine. They do a lot of routines And for those of us who have to have some setbacks with and don't really enjoy routine, we're viewed as sort of outcasts, sort of rebels, sort of irresponsible, things like that. When the truth is we're philosophers. We just never lost that childlike wonder about the world, and we want to go and explore it. And I felt like after I had had a few experiences, even though they weren't optimal, I realized something about myself after being kissed by that gay guy the first time, and I was like, well, there's something new about me, there's something different. Um, and I never really cared what clothes I wore. Most of the time it was just guys' clothes. But if I couldn't find something, and I was in a store shopping with my mom, because she always took me clothing shopping, to this store called Ross, which had a lot of merchandise from name brand stores, nicer clothing that was at a cheaper price, and still probably one of the best places to go for clothes. Apart from Econoclad in Salt Lake City. Love that store, and of course Hot Topic in the mall, and there's a few other places in the mall like I like to hit up, Hollister and American Eagle, stuff like that. But a lot of times I'm given clothes, and I do a lot of modeling and things like that. And I started making money and getting offered a lot of money for modeling, and I realized that even though it wasn't my passion, it was something that I needed to learn for stage acting, and I felt like when I was coming out, it was just like everyone was an opportunity suddenly. It was like my eyes were opened, and I no longer just saw women anymore. I didn't see guys as potential friends, or, oh, that guy, well, he's handsome, I used to think, oh, when I saw an attractive guy, I'd be like, oh, he's handsome, I bet you he would be good to model for, like, this drawing that I'm doing. I was like, oh, I just am attracted to attractive people. It's like, oh, I think attractive people should hang out together, even though I had no attractive friends growing up that I felt physically attracted to. But then again, I didn't look at guys in that light, just in an artistic and a beauty sense. And then once I found out that you could kiss a guy, and that it was faster and more powerful, and it wasn't like there wasn't so much red tape, and it felt somehow more natural in certain ways, and then not as long lasting in other ways. But it's about the same as girls, actually, like just depending on who you align yourself with. Girls tend to be less, verbally abusive, I think, less likely to be physically abusive and in other ways. At least the girls I dated, but then I dated within a church organization where those things were not just frowned upon, but considered sins, and that came with a penalty. So it acted as sort of like a law within a system of law. I guess I'm trying to keep this to 10 minutes to come out. I come out a bunch of times on these videos, but I didn't ever get dressed up with the whole purpose of coming out. And I guess this part is just saying, like, I guess all I really want to say in this video is, like, I do a little bit of gender bending. And by little, I mean little, like shirts. Pretty much just shirts. Just trying to think anything else. I wore a sarong once. But yeah, I'm not into, I don't consider myself trans or anything like that. I just sort of, for artistic expression, if I find fabric or clothes that are just better, they're better suited for me, and I'm like, whoa, I like that, then I'll try it on, and if it fits, I'll be like, okay. Like I saw this downstairs. I don't know whose it is. It's probably someone's, but I think it's awesome. I love the color, and it's just like the fit is really nice. Shows off my muscles, shows off. It just works really well with this outfit. So, people don't need to be afraid of worrying so much about checking labels to say, is this a guy shirt, is this a girl shirt? Who cares what it was designed for as long as it fits? Obviously, my strong preference being male is to only wear men's clothes. However, if you find something better and you don't have access to somebody who's good at sewing, who can mod the clothes, it should fit you well. If something doesn't fit you well, don't wear it. But if something does fit you, and if you enjoy it and you enjoy the feel of it, then, don't be afraid to try it on, try it on, see where it goes. But, like, don't go, like, there's acceptance, and if you bend a little bit, it's acceptable. You bend a lot, and people are like, whoa, bro. They're just like, dude, like, don't do that. And I think a lot of it is how I was introduced. I was introduced in the more the theater realm, you know, and gay people just had a really high standard of excellence. People who were bisexual as well, it was like good hygiene, clean inside and out, um, you know, makeup, good hair. Um, a lot of times those were like some of the basics that people would do, and then of course you manipulate your hairstyles different ways for different photo shoots. But yeah, so that's the only thing I wanted to say. Like, if you find fabric, what's more important, the type of fabric. If you like the fabric, you like the thickness, you like the feel of it, you like the color of it. If you're rich, by all means, hire some people to make clothes for you if you don't know how to make them yourself. Because I don't have much joy in it, but then again, I've never tried it. Maybe I would find it fun to paint on a jacket in oil paints or something, and do a sort of a, you know, a canvas jacket where I had an oil painting that I had sewn on the back that I had done. You know, something like that could be valuable someday, or I could sell those things for maybe like 500, 600 bucks. And I've done a lot of paintings, and so it's just like, you think about those things when you're looking at things through the eyes of an artist, the beauty of the world. You think about how you can express yourself. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be preparing for YouTube in a way that's going to represent myself accurately and completely. And I hope that this sort of gives you a little bit of inspiration to just not be afraid to wear what you're going to wear. I've got some gold pants over here, and I definitely just walked around in like a supermarket once wearing those gold pants, you know. I just don't care. I realize there's risk with everything, but I think that the country is under the illusion that there's risk. Even though there is some, it's just like there's becoming less and less because there's becoming more and more awareness. And with more and more awareness, you have more and more people willing to like step outside of their little comfort bubble of subterfuge and say, "Yo, I'm gay," or "Yo, I'm bisexual." You know, I like men and women. I don't just like biological men, but I also like people with biological women. Whatever body parts they are don't really matter to me. When you're pansexual, it's like you don't really care about a lot of that stuff. It doesn't mean that you just sleep around a lot either. It just means that you have multiple attractions in multiple groups of people, and you can be monogamous as well. And I, for the most of my entire dating history, I've been monogamous. Um, I thought about it once I become, hopefully once I get more hits on YouTube and things like that, as I just set up my channel today, so I don't know when my first person's gonna comment on it, but I mean, my first video was provocative enough. I mean, I think it would rub people the wrong way. I don't think it's gonna be positive feedback, but I certainly didn't want to address gender bending in my first video. It just wasn't the way I wanted to approach my channel, because I just approached it with a photo saying I'm out, and that meant it in 3 ways, and I'll discuss those 3 ways that I came out in the next video and see if I can comprehensively throw it all together and not get too wordy. And yeah, so anyways, be fearless, do what you want to do, take your freedom back, take your power back, and regardless of where you live and who you're with, don't be afraid to be you, and you're going to be happier for it in the long run. And even if it feels like you're taking a bullet for it, in the long run you'll be able to say, look, I had courage, I faced my fears, I was able to get out there and prove to myself and other people that I could be exactly who I wanted to be, irregardless of what they wanted me to be. And yeah, good luck.